Howdy do, folks. Welcome to a special Saturday night edition of Streaming Live from our living room. As you can see, we've made a few modifications to the live stream set to accommodate Caesar, the new, apparently, director of operations here this evening. It is it's Saturday, February 1st, 2025. This is kind of sort of a tribute show to the late, great David Lynch. If you are unfamiliar with David Lynch's work, uh, I don't even know how you found me. But so we got some David Lynch stories to tell. There's David Lynch stuff all over this house. Caesar, Caesar, that's right. If you look down like that, then you're on camera. But when you look up too high, um, then it's too crazy pants. So if you've been with us live streaming for a very long time, also the lovely Mrs. Comic is in the house over there on the sofa way over there. And uh, Sparky, our cockatiel we lost however many years ago, loved live streaming, and she also very much loved watching Twin Peaks, except for the very end of it, there's an electronic, screechy, scratchy noise that used to scare the fuck out of her. So I used to wind that down. Caesar is loving some David Lynch stuff too, as well as things that are in black and white. Um, so let's kick this thing off here. Oh, also there is some exciting news. Sorry that we haven't live streamed for a very long time. No excuse there. I've just sometimes life is just that sucks the hell out of us, and we get too busy, and things are crazy right now. But I figure. Um, if we're gonna cry in our beer, we might as well all cry in our beer together, even if our beer happens to be tonight is peppermint schnapps night in tribute to Mrs. Comic's mother, one of her uh, all-time go-to. If anything was wrong with you, I have a headache, I have a stomach ache, uh, my knee in a bucket of goo. Here, have some peppermint schnapps. So there's that right there. That's an acquired taste. Mrs. Comic and I love it. People either love it or they're like, "Oh my God, how can you drink that stuff?" So there's that going on here, and as you know from when we were streaming, our daughter and her partner Vince were desperately trying to find a home for Rico, the wobbly cat that they found on pretty much on its deathbed. It weighed less than a pound when they found it at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was like a year after this guy went up a tree in our yard, 30 feet up, which made us miss the David Lynch Film Festival at the Mahoning Drive-In. So, Caesar, we do have the David Lynch Drive-In commemorative T-shirts that we didn't go to, but we got the cat instead, and the actor whose name escapes me played Hawk. On the series, a huge cat fan. He was at the drive-in that night, so he would have totally sanctioned us missing coming to see him to save this guy. So bittersweet. Our daughter and her partner had found a home for Rico, and he was going to get picked up on actual New Year's Day, and they had just completely fallen in love with him, and we were planning therapy sessions. We fell in love with them too. That little fucker was so cute, and they were gonna come pick him up on New Year's Day. Mrs. Comic and I were going to take our daughter and her partner for consolation Indian food up in Pocono Summers. Uh, After the people picked up Rico, it was friends of theirs, and everything was going to be fine. But he went from being a fucking shitstorm, and that's how I met him. He wasn't even strong enough to stand up and run and shit. It was just a fucking nightmare. And he had just grown into this most adorable wobbly cat, and there was a lot of tears and a lot of this is great that we found it a home, and it's also horrible. So and they were keeping it in a room away from our grandson, the cat Hank, because they hadn't get along yet. And it had this pterodactyl scream, and when we went over there to take him out for Indian food, I was hearing this pterodactyl scream, but I thought I was imagining it. And so the, the long and short of this story is they just couldn't bring themselves to part with Rico, so they're keeping this cute little fucker, and we all love him. He's absolutely incredible. He's healthy. He's happy. He's wobbly. He doesn't even know he's wobbly. Uh, and to anybody who has cats, one of the worst fucking things can happen is you can have to take him to the vet, and you put him in a cat carrier, and they think you're gonna kill him, or they're never coming home. Rico actually loves going in the car when we take him to the vet. I get to chauffeur him, but our daughter takes him out of the cat carrier, and he climbs around on her lap and he looks out the window. He's like a kid going to see a fucking amusement park for the first time. So they're keeping him. So it's absolutely incredible. We're so excited to welcome Rico into the cat family here. And I'll tell you something else while I'm talking cats before I say so far it's not very much of a David Lynch tribute show, but right here you can see these red curtains behind me. Caesar was helping with the setup. These red curtains were actually purchased specifically for season 3 of Twin Peaks, which came out in 2017, right on my actual fucking birthday. We lost our minds, and 25 years ago from 2017, Twin Peaks aired on normal cable TV with commercials and everything. It was the weirdest fucking thing there ever was. Um, and that one premiered on Mrs. Comic's birthday. So season 1 premiered Mrs. Comic's birthday. Season 3 premiered on my birthday. We are all in on Twin Peaks. So there's that. And shout out to Richter. This show was going to be partially dedicated to Richter, who, since I didn't tell him I was going to be streaming tonight, uh, he had no way of knowing that he probably shouldn't make a dinner date for tonight. So Richter's having a dinner date tonight, and I know how much he misses being in this show. And also, I didn't get to talk to him too much about it. I'm guessing he doesn't know this girl that well, or you just can't introduce somebody to me right away. That's just a terrible thing right there. Uh, so shout out to Richter whenever you get to this. Back to some more fun stories here. Now again, I'm so far I haven't really talked much about David Lynch, but there's other shit going on here. So right here this is kind of amazing stuff here. Um, Bearcat is still kicking away. We can't find a home for Bearcat. It doesn't want a home. That's Bearcat going into its house. We have a webcam, so I know when it's going in there. So now with all this, don't judge us, but we don't want to get bird flu, and we don't. If you have birds and run around your yard and all that stuff, and you go in and out of the house, you don't want to bring shit into your cats or your pets or yourself. So I have a whole process where that thing where you can see Bearcat crawling in there. And that's a hot water bowl on the step, but I actually crawl food into that house, and so that I don't get germs brought back into the house. Here, let's see if I did it. If I change the name of this thing. Okay, so now this is gonna be a long watch. So what happens is this is that
Wow, hello. We were
Bearcat
worried
cam,
about you,
when I
buddy.
see it, and I
We
put
were
them
worried
stupid
about
fucking yellow
you.
pants on, and Bearcat
Yes,
runs
we
and
were
hides, and I crawl, and
worried about
I
you.
crawl food into. This is the most exercise I get. I crawl actual food into that
Do
house.
this.
Those are my yellow
Make the
hazmat
camera on.
pants, which I change in a special room. Those actually don't come in this house, nor do those shoes. And then I push that sucker in there, and then when Bearcat sees the door close, then he comes back and goes in there. So we've been doing, I mean, it's not like we haven't been doing stuff. We're busy all the time, mostly with cats. Now let's flip you back to this David Lynch stuff here. Um, we have so much David Lynch stuff. We have records and books and DVDs, and there's albums and there's all kind of stuff. He's one of the most brilliant creators that it's kind of insane. It's insane that we have been able to live in a world where David Lynch existed, and the extras on, like, let's say Twin Peaks season 3, the DVD, it's well worth it. The extras are incredible. He must have, it was, Showtime bankrolled this thing, and apparently they didn't have any idea what they were getting into, because David Lynch uh, does things his way. That sounds cliche, but there's a lot of video of interviewing of him fighting with, like, Showtime people, because it's all about money. So there's a scene. It's not really a spoiler. There's a scene in Twin Peaks season 3 where um, Albert comes in and he has to meet with actual David Lynch, who is Gordon Cole of the FBI, and Gordon Cole has a tall drink of red wine and a tall drink red haired date, and she's not allowed in this meeting, and she takes 2 minutes and 17 seconds to leave that fucking scene, and it's magical. She has to fix her hair, and she has to do her lips, and then she does the smell of the wine, and they're standing there, and he's just losing this. The one guy's pissed off, and David Lynch is in awe of this woman, and they're fighting with him all. Why the fuck does this scene take this long? And David Lynch is all about, well, why the fuck do you care? It takes as long as it fucking takes. And so that the thing we also love about the David Lynch stuff is there's a recipe for television shows. There's, you meet characters, then they have problems, they get solved, and the episode's over. There's so many fucking weirdos in this thing. Things don't get solved. People don't. Fun, amazing shit happens that they don't ever explain. David Bowie has an incredible kind of a cameo walk-on performance in a sequel, a prequel movie called Fire Walk with Me. That's just, I mean, when you get David Bowie to guest in the thing, that's absolutely just incredible. So the David Lynch stuff is incredible, and also, uh, I think I put it in the link for this live stream. There's an incredible black and white film, uh, David Lynch cooking with quinoa. It's incredible. It's like 10, 15 minutes long. Its actual recipe actually really works. And he goes in meticulous detail about how you cook this quinoa, and there's broccoli in it. And then the cooking time is happening. He goes into another room and he tells a story about uh, his very good friend who played the lead role in Eraserhead, uh, Jim Nance. Is it Jim? I'm so terrible. I just call him Eraserhead. It's Jim Nance, or I think it's Jim Nance. Jim Nance. I'm a terrible person. I have it here somewhere, um, but they're really good friends, and they're on a train ride, and Nance, I call him Eraserhead. He has a date, and it became to known to David Lynch that she had never had a Coca Cola. So he tells this whole story about Eraserhead's date never having a Coca Cola before in her life.
Jack Nance.
Jack Nance. I feel so terrible. Jack Nance. Apologies, Lynch. I call him Eraserhead. Jack Nance is what it is. And so he tells this whole story about they stopped, and he got a 6-pack of Coca Colas. There would be 2 each, and this girl never had a Coca Cola, and that's a tribute to that story right there. And if you've never had a Coca Cola in your life, uh, the, the ultimate fizz burn kerpow, and he tells a story about how she never had one. And the first sip, she wasn't ready, and it was fucking spritzed through her eyes and her nose and her face, and she loved it. And so this story goes on until the story's done. Um, the recipe's done, and then you get a lesson on cleaning the pots and pans and all that fun stuff. So it's really incredible, incredible. It's really artsy. If you need to have if you're boring and you need a recipe for a thing, not a recipe for cooking, but a recipe for a show that you're watching, David Lynch is gonna fucking just destroy you. You're just gonna walk away going, "What the fuck was that?" Now this goes back to Mrs. Comic and I have a happy life together. We have so much fun. David Lynch has been part of our entire lives together. And in tribute to Richter, yeah, David Lynch and me, that's a lot to fucking throw on somebody. I don't know if Richter's on a first date. I have no way of knowing anything. I don't ask a lot of questions. But I'm going back now to the early days, and the film Eraserhead is absolutely fucking incredible. It seemingly makes no sense, and we love that about it. It's really an artsy film. It's an absolutely incredible film. But back in the days when Mrs. Comic and I met, it was pre-internet, pre you couldn't buy DVDs. That's how old we are. You get AARP cards. Um, we had to drive to Philly to see Eraserhead at the TLA on whatever street that is in Philly, and that's how you would go see it. And when this area caught up to midnight movies, every so often they'd show midnight movies, Eraserhead, and when it hit mainstream, it was absolutely incredible. When Twin Peaks was going to be a show on actual television, we thought it was a goof. We just thought it was an absolute goof. And Lynch himself and Frost, I don't know that guy's name. It's not Robert Frost. Is it David Frost? They co-wrote it. They also thought it was going to be a goof, so they tried to ram as much fucking shit into the pilot as they could, thinking regular television is going to say "fuck you" in a bucket of goo, and this thing caught on. And the premise of that is basically, again, he's not traditional, so he has a history of fighting with television producers and people who bankroll shit. It's basically who killed Laura Palmer. That's what it is, and the cast didn't even know. So that as this thing was being filmed and it took off, the cast was being interviewed, and they themselves didn't know which of them, if any of them, was the killer. And what's absolutely kind of incredible, I don't know if this was done. There's no way he could have had this kind of vision, but hell, you never know. There's a scene in there where Laura Palmer, who is obviously she's dead because that's who killed Laura Palmer. No spoilers there. That show opens with the Jack Nance, the Eraserhead character, finding Laura Palmer's body in the hole. They spent 2 and then 3 seasons trying to solve that mystery. Um, so that happens like right away, and that pissed off the TV people. You can't really start with finding a body, and we don't know shit from Shinola, and so that whole thing went on, and that's absolutely an incredible series to watch. But in there, uh, uh, too many spoilers, but you won't remember any of this shit if you've seen Twin Peaks, you'll go Yahoo, and if you haven't seen Twin Peaks, uh, Laura Palmer tells Agent Cooper that she'll see him in 25 years, and these curtains are from the Black Lodge, and so there's a whisper kind of crazy shit going on there, and season 3 premiered 25 years later on my actual birthday. So yes, we fucking love Lynch. We love Twin Peaks. I will watch that again and again and again. Um, More fun spoilers. I'm just going to tell you, I don't have the copyrights to play any of these clips. So I'm going to tell you some of the fun things about Twin Peaks season 3. Uh, he bagged some big stars, and what little I know about show business, and Coca-Cola, the TV shows, although they have a big budget, it's basically not for the talent. It's for all the things that we see. Filming costs money. David Lynch is an artist. He built a lot of the shit that you see. He's an artist. He built fucking crazy, amazing, horrible shit for us to see. And uh, they bagged some big stars for Twin Peaks season 3. Michael Cera, I think that's his name. They can't fucking afford him. They can't fucking afford him. He's a kid. He's a grown up kid of a couple from the Twin Peaks season 1 and 2, and there's great behind the scenes things because they didn't know who he cast. They knew there was a scene with their grown up son, and they're like, "Oh, you know who your son is?" No, it's Michael Cera. They fucking were fainting. They were fucking starstruck, and they were expecting to spend at least a few days with this celebrity rock star actor. And he came in and he fucking nailed his scene in like one take, and that was it. And then they did like another take or two just for shits and giggles. But I love all that stuff. It's absolutely incredible. Again, it's uh, not for the faint of heart. I would if you haven't seen any Twin Peaks at all, you probably should see season 1 first. Then you should see season 2. Then you should see a film called Fire Walk with Me, and then you can dive right into uh, season 3. Kyle MacLachlan uh, credits David Lynch for his career. He's in a bunch of his stuff. Where the heck is it? I'll be all over the railroad tracks here. He's in Blue Velvet, and that has Dennis Hopper in it. Now let's see. I got some records here to show you. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. Dennis Hopper, as well we know, he's as fucking crazy as his day is long. I don't know where that is. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, so there you see Blue Velvet right there. That's an insanely crazy film, and Dennis Hopper's life, he fucked his life up on drugs, and he was fucking crazy as all fuck, and his career was fucked. And David Lynch picked him up for Blue Velvet, and he's a really fucking crazy motherfucker in Blue Velvet and Saturday Night Live. So you think about Twin Peaks is also all the shows goof on them. Saturday Night Live goofed on them. Simpsons goofed on them. But Dennis Hopper's career was fucked, and then Blue Velvet brought him back, and he was on Saturday Night Live. Dennis Hopper, and they were celebrating his career coming back and doing promotion for Blue Velvet. And in this thing, they were talking to him and saying, "So you were in bad shape, and now you're straightening your life out, and everything's good, and you made this film." And then they play a clip from Blue Velvet, and Dennis Hopper's breathing and going, "Mommy, Mommy." It's the scariest fucking thing. And then they're like, "Okay, we're glad to see that you're okay again." So the Lynch stories are just absolutely incredible. I don't know if you peckerheads uh, can watch it. I don't even know if you want to watch this stuff, but
Blue Velvet. Susan likes Blue Velvet.
Clee's sister likes Blue Velvet. That's absolutely incredible. But again, Kyle MacLachlan, fantastic. And what's insane, if you ever make it to Twin Peaks season 3, Kyle MacLachlan got cheated. Whatever the TV awards are, is he plays like fucking 5 different people that are so different, but they're basically all the same person, and that's part of the story. I don't want to fuck that up for you. How he didn't win whatever the fucking prizes are for that is anybody's guess. But again, and he's brilliant sense of humor, Kyle MacLachlan, and he tells stories about the filming of Twin Peaks season 3 and some other things. And they got uh, Jim Belushi is a thug, a gangster thug, and the other gangster thug is his brother, an actor. I don't know who he is, but you go, "Oh, that guy." And see, here's the problem with using comedic people in film. David Lynch's work seems highly improvised, and it is not improvised at all. There are specific things, and that's incredible too, because behind the scenes things is he gives the actors just exactly what they need. He will say, okay, you you're really fucking mad because you want to go somewhere and your husband is tired and he's really pissing you off. And that's it. And that's all he fucking get. And they go back and forth. And Belushi, as a gangster, they're out. They're gonna whack somebody out in the desert, and there's a lot of shit going on. I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but Belushi started to improvise, and that's a big no-no. This see, nothing is accidental in the David Lynch pieces of work, and so Kyle MacLachlan does this amazing impersonation of David Lynch yelling at Belushi, and he goes, "Mr. Belushi, stick to the script." It's funny if you love David Lynch. Again, uh, if you like David Lynch, man, get the DVDs with the special features. There is so much crazy shit going on.
Season 3.
That's season 3. Uh, and going back, I don't know if you peckerheads, I mean that in a nice way. Uh, seasons 1 and 2. Uh, I can't imagine I'm going to ruin anything for anybody. One of the evilest, most scariest fucking creatures that ever haunted anyone in film is a character named Bob, and he is fucking scary as fuck. And what Bob is, Bob was actually working on the film in a technical capacity. He might have been a boom mic guy. He might have been something, but they were filming, and he was creeping around with this boom mic. And Lynch saw me. He goes, "Holy fuck! That guy has to be the villain." Just he was in the scene accidentally, and he fucking zoomed. He fucking zoomed off to superstardom. And that it was completely accidental. So we love all that stuff. We can quote lines from all the Twin Peaks stuff and Eraserhead and all that, and it doesn't make sense to anybody else, but it actually does to us. Now I'm going to tell a story that Mrs. Comic might be slightly embarrassed about, but it's really a fantastic story. And again, in Twin Peaks season 3, there's another man. I should have got these fucking names together. It's an old man and he's a great character actor. He passed away. He runs Trailer Park, and he's absolutely fucking brilliant. And it, he has a nice character arc till he gets to season 3. He's sweeter than he was. He has signs up at never, never knock on my door before 9 o'clock, and he's yelling, and fucking screaming, and going nuts. But one of the people in the trailer park, it's an older guy, and he's a really nice guy, and he's hurting, and he's got aches and pains, and he goes and he mows lawns at the trailer park, and he doesn't get paid and all that shit, and he winds up having to sell blood for money, and this pisses off this character that he calls him, hey Crisco, were you selling your blood again? And it's a fucking brilliant scene, and then he pays him for mowing the lawns and installing shit, and he warns him. He goes, and the next time people need to donate blood, but you've done enough. Keep your blood, Crisco. I don't want to see people selling their blood to eat. And our daughter was waiting for blood results from her partner who was donating blood, and somehow his blood got rejected. I don't know why. There's nothing wrong with him.
Had trouble getting it.
They had trouble getting his vein or whatever. And Mrs. Comic wrote on there, "I don't like to see people selling their blood to eat." And she gave me the note. We were in the car, and our daughter was on the phone, and I handed her the note. And she fucking wanted to kill me because she laughed her ass off, which was not the right time to be laughing because her boyfriend's blood just got rejected. So this is how silly and immature we are, and it goes to the heart of how much fun we have in our lives. And also, where is it here? This is something that I wish you would all pick up. I don't get any money for this. This is David Lynch. It's called Catching the Big Fish. It is a brilliant There's stories about philosophy, about how to think, how to live, how he has created some different scenes, and it's a very simple. Uh, and it's very enjoyable. I gotta see if I can find something here because it's not in this book, not all of it, not the punchline. This goes to show you. I really should have. I'm gonna have to just do a better one of these sometime because this is absolutely incredible. So, okay, so in this book, Catching the Big Fish, it's really about setting insanely amazing goals for yourself and never give up on them. Like, fucking never give up on them. Eraserhead took like 7 years to finish. Uh, but this page, the whole page is called Bob's Big Boy. And this is Lynch talking. I used to go to Bob's Big Boy restaurant just about every day from the mid 70s until the early 80s. I have a milkshake and sit and think. There's safety in thinking in a diner. You can have your coffee and your milkshake and then go off in these strange dark areas and always come back to the safety of the diner. So he wrote a lot of his crazy shit that was so fucked up that scared the fuck out of himself that he liked the safety of the diner. And what's not in this book is since he passed, there's a lot of clips of him. Uh, he'd go to get this specific. It wasn't actually a milkshake. It was something that if he got it too soon in the day, it they sold them too fast and it didn't have the right consistency. So he would wait till later in the afternoon, and then he would would go in there and buy one of these shakes because it was either a little more frozen or whatever. And then I think he thought he didn't say he wanted the recipe, but he made it seem like he thought he could make these himself because that's what he does. He creates, he cooks, he's an artist, and so he tells a story in a short version. Which if I did this, there would be a much longer version of the story, as it is longer now. He he dove into a dumpster at Bob's Big Boy to get a box of this dessert. It was marked whatever this dessert drink was, and so he thought he could recreate the recipe, but all the ingredients, I think he said, ended with the word like zine, and like fucking that's all chemical shit. And so when he learned that, he fucking stopped drinking them because it didn't have anything healthy in it. So the moral of the story is if you really enjoy a milkshake and you don't want to ruin it for you, don't dive into the dumpster to see if you can get the recipe because it might just have fucking shit in there and fuck you up. So that's fun stuff there too. But this is a great read. You don't have to be in the creative field. There's some good life lessons in here on how to stay positive, especially now. Holy fuck! A lot of people, and this is something that I'm struggling with. When things are fucked up in the world, it's really hard to get into entertainment mode, and I'm guessing you peckerheads, I mean that in a nice way, need us now more than ever. And it goes both ways. Mrs. Comic and I really miss you folks. And we said we gotta just fucking push through all this bullshit and get back in the ball game here. So all that stuff is going on, which again I'm ranting about how amazing David Lynch is. Okay, so now we're going back to Twin Peaks season 3. Okay, so if you are a band and a movie or TV show picks your music, it's probably to roll the credits with. And in this age of streaming, when your song starts and the credits are rolling, they don't even fucking roll them all. The next thing fucking goes. In Twin Peaks season 3, there's a the Roadhouse is a bar that's been in all the seasons, and he puts bands in there that are fucking amazing, and they get to play their whole song. Sometimes within the episode, sometimes at the end, and Showtime fought with him on that. But imagine that if you're a band and David Lynch invites you to come play your band's song in this fucking bar. You get to play the whole fucking song. And we have those uh, on here. It's just incredible stuff. Uh, but to me, that's Rockstar. That a band would get to play their whole song, and they also got Nine Inch Nails to come in. I don't know how they fucking afforded them. I'm guessing David Lynch called up Nine Inch Nails and said, and they're like, yeah, we'll fucking do it. And the phrase is for scale. Um, I ran in a rave about our passion for The Godfather. Uh, Everybody's working for scale. Even they got Marlon Brando. I guess that's minimum wage in show business. I think these bands mostly, especially the ones that you never heard of, worked for scale. But I think like Nine Inch Nails probably worked for scale. Don't quote me on that, but because I don't think they had the budget. And um, the Bowie and all these, I believe they actually worked for scale. Uh, this stuff is actually incredible. Um, to my way of thinking, as someone who creates and puts stuff out in the world, what I would fucking love to create a body of work that would just fucking be there forever. The body of work that David Lynch left us all to enjoy for generation after fucking generation, just absolutely incredible. I believe he really buried himself in his work. I know Iggy Pop did it, David Bowie did it, Philip Glass does it. It's really hard to detach from the hell and horror that's going on and dive into your work, but I fucking have to do more of that. That's why we're streaming tonight, just to get my fucking ass back in gear here. Uh, Show business is a little shaky right now as people don't want to go out and spend money because everybody's fucking nuts. And that's a thing I like to rant and rave about. I back in the Depression days, which obviously I wasn't alive then that I know of, but when people were really depressed and down, they went out and spent money on entertainment to forget shit. Right now, what's going on is kind of fucked up. People are actually too fucking miserable to be cheered up. I can cheer people up if I can get them out the fucking house, and if I can't get them out the house, I'm not even out the house myself. So right now, I'm here trying to entertain you peckerheads in a nice way but push yourself. I'm begging everyone to push yourself into things that you love: music, reading, writing, roller coaster, whatever the fuck it is you love. Make sure you get a healthy dose of that because there's so much fucking shit going on that can suck you down into the pool of shit. And once you start spinning in the pool of shit, it's really bad. So that's why we love our cats. Caesar is he's fucking full time. Let me tell you what, people have pets and they just run around and do nothing. Caesar follows us all around. We have to explain everything to him. If I go to the bathroom, he goes to the bathroom. If I go in the kitchen, he goes to the kitchen. And we have to explain to him everything that's going on. This is here right now accidentally because this was here and his chair was back there. I moved this here to move this chair here, and he fucking dove up on this thing and he went nuts. It took me 20 minutes to fucking move this thing over here. But we love that shit. We love the diversions of our pets. We love taking care of Rico and helping him bring him back into the fold. So I was expecting to burp sooner than that. And says Coca-Cola, come here. Now, that's what I'm begging all of you to do is take care of yourselves, take care of your minds, do the things you love because there's a fuck storm going out there in this country right now. And again, it's not political. We have airlines are going fucking crazy. There's the news is just fucking suck the life out of you. Take everything that you love and fucking dive into it because that's where you will find happiness in your life. That's why I talk about things that I'm passionate about. David Lynch, I could fucking sit here and rant and rave for 3 fucking hours on David Lynch stuff. Again, just the makings of things. Do yourself a favor and go on YouTube and look for David Lynch clips. He goes fucking nuts about people watching movies on their phones. Like he's a film guy. He believes you should have, uh, you can't have a home theater, but you should have a comfy chair, dark room, a nice screen, and try to enjoy a film like that. And if you're watching a movie on your phone, he'll fucking curse about it. Are you fucking kidding me? Watching this thing on your fucking phone? It's that's a thing we love. We can't get enough David Lynch. We absolutely can't. I will tell you how crazy we are for David Lynch. 2017, Twin Peaks season 3 came out. That's another thing. Lynch fucking does everything right. You wait 25 years for Twin Peaks season 3 to come out. You can't believe it's fucking coming out. And then one episode comes out of a show, and then you gotta wait a whole fucking week. He dropped like fucking 4 episodes on the first night. It was a Sunday night. 2017 was the fucking greatest birthdays I ever had. Mrs. Comic and I, we took our daughter, we went around. Uh, David Lynch and Twin Peaks are about coffee, damn good coffee, donuts, that's the whole thing. We wanted to have the exact amount of donuts, the right amount of donuts and coffee and all this shit. But again, there's a spoiler, and it's either from, it might be from Fire Walk with Me, or it might be from Twin Peaks season 1 and 2. There's a Meals on Wheels scene, and there's a fucking crazy old lady, and she's there, and it seems so innocent, and she'll go, "Do you see cream corn on my tray?" And then you look, and there's cream corn on the tray. And she said, "I ordered no cream corn." And then they look at the tray, and the cream corn is gone, and then it's in a kid's hand. And that's actually David Lynch's kid, just a hand of cream corn. So this is how silly and immature I am. Uh, there's also, the diner is a theme in all the things. Norma's Double R Diner. It's actually the Double R Diner. It's not Norma's. So we found a diner in Kutztown on that day, on David Lynch's birthday launch day. I went on my own and I slipped the waiter. I said, "Do you have cream corn?" He said, "Yeah, I'm there. Here's $10 if you do me a favor, and I would like you to just bring a, a bowl of cream corn, set it on the table. Don't smile at us. Don't talk to us. Don't ask who ordered it. Don't serve it to any of us. Come in with your most serious, deadpan face and set this fucking cream corn down and walk off." And he fucking nailed it. And Mrs. Comic didn't know about it, and our daughter didn't know about it. And that means I'm fucking amazing because I spent $10 for cream corn that nobody was gonna fucking eat as a David Lynch reference. When Richard gets back from his date, he's gonna really love this. The situation here is Crenshaw's in Hawaii again, babysitting goats. Richter's on a date. I haven't streamed for so long, and now I feel like I have to fucking call Hawaii to talk to Crenshaw about his goats. I should probably call Richter on his date, but that could fuck things up for him. So that's holy shit. I don't even know. Like I say, um, if you don't like David Lynch and you're still watching, I'm really sorry about that because that's some weird shit there too. But the David Lynch clips on YouTube are absolutely phenomenal. Um, he has a presence that is just absolutely incredible, and the work ethic is fucking crazy pants. Uh, I don't know how many years ago we went to see him speak at the Brooklyn Academy of Music. Mrs. Comic and I, our daughter and her partner Vince, we were so fucking excited. And the tickets were reasonable because it was going to be a sit down with David Lynch. Quiet! It's time for me to take a pill. And so this was going to be a fucking huge event in our lives to go see David Lynch speak. And the guy who interviewed him was a fucking train wreck. Oh my god. It was entertaining, but I could have went up there and fucking bashed his fucking kneecaps in. Okay, so there's this guy, and there's David Lynch. Now, the rock musician Moby, if you can find any David Lynch Moby interviews, they're fucking amazing. Because Moby will sit down and go like, okay, so what does David Lynch have for breakfast? And then he fucking goes. But this fucking asshole fucking was so full of himself, and they were showing paintings and shit, and this guy was telling David Lynch about paintings he did, and he put his own fucking paintings up there. I did this painting when I was 23 years old, and my mother loved this painting. And I did it. It's not really anything all that special. I would say it was just a painting that I did, and there's for you to see. But for reasons I don't even know, my mother, for this painting, is the most magical thing in the world. That she loved this painting. It's so good, and I just was wondering, David Lynch, do you like this painting? And David Lynch was like, yes. And that was it. Lynch really fucked with him because he knew. We're like, holy fuck. Uh, that's an instance where I would have loved to just fucking run up there and take over that fucking interview.
What was the song he played? Do you remember? David Lynch played a song for everybody.
He played a song for everybody, and it was a Kanye West song.
Yeah, it was.
I can't remember what it was, but
He loves it, and he played it really loud.
He played it really loud as Kanye West song. See, we didn't prepare for this show at all. But again, there's crazy shit going on, and again, Clee's sister, Blue Velvet, uh, Richter will get this. Like there's songs in there that are absolutely incredible. Candy Colored Clown, absolutely fucking incredible. It's a weird fucking scene. They go over to Ben's, and then it's not even a song. They just put the fucking record on, and a guy sings into a fucking light lamp, one of those old metal ones that go over the bulb. And he sings this thing, and when you hear Candy Colored Clown now, it beams you fucking right back into Blue Velvet. In fact, a friend of mine, uh, uh, Mazeppa, she loves fucking Lynch. When this song comes on in his shop, he fucking screenshots it and he fucking sends it to me, which is kind of cool. But what the fuck am I gonna do with that? I don't fucking know. But it affects people that way. And the sequence. Now I'm going to go off of my Blue Velvet rant. Um, there's there's incredible attention to teeny tiny little things. Kyle MacLachlan is our hero in Blue Velvet, and he's going on an investigation to try to find fucking crazy uh, Dennis Hopper, Frank Booth, and they have to go see a lounge singer who sings Blue Velvet, and crazy Dennis Hopper, psychopathic motherfucker, perverted fuck, hears this lady singing Blue Velvet, and he fucking cries and he tears up and shit. And they make a big deal out of Kyle MacLachlan liking a Heineken. And his date never had a Heineken. Did you ever have a Heineken? No. You never had a Heineken? And this goes on. And then she says, I only ever drank, what's King of Beers? Budweiser. King of Beers, right? Is that it? So I only drank Bud because my dad drinks Budweiser. So this scene comes back to haunt later on because psychopath fucking Dennis Hopper, Frank Booth, takes Kyle MacLachlan on a joyride over Ben's to hear them sing Candy Colored Clown, but they got to get beer first. And he asked them, and they're beating the fuck out of him, so I don't know why they would ask him what kind of beer he likes. He says, what kind of beer you like? Heineken. He goes, Heineken? Fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. And so the point of that story is another friend of mine, Frank, we were at a bar in the middle of the day with nobody fucking there, and I was acting out this scene at the bar for apparently just Frank and the bartender, and we wanted Heineken's, and before I could turn around, I said, what kind of beer you want? He said, Heineken. I said, Heineken? Fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. The bartender turned around and he fucking plunked down 2 bottles of Pabst Blue Ribbon that were fucking open. And I said, I actually didn't order this. Yeah, I opened them. You're going to fucking drink them. So some of this David Lynch stuff can come back to haunt you if you're not too careful. I think I'm going to have to do more David Lynch tribute shows. We hope everybody's doing good, man. We hope everybody's doing good. Reach out to people. Try to be a little extra nice to people. We're all fucking stressed out. I've got some comedy shit that I'm working on here. Uh, Let's see here. Oh, oh, that is trending in my show right now is a thing where I complain. I'm off the railroad tracks now about David Lynch stuff, but um, that I complained that over the pandemic I became a senior citizen, and it really fucking pissed me off. And that's why geezers are fucking pissed off because they don't like the stamp fucking senior citizen. Because basically, when you're 65, you feel pretty much how you felt when you were fucking 60. There's no like, oh my, I'm 65 now. And for me, I found out at the doctor's office because I hadn't been there since before pandemic. And then after pandemic, I was 66. And he started asking, they always ask you those questions, but these questions were kind of like a little bit different. And this is how I figured shit out. He goes, so do you still like to do things? And I'm like, I thought that was a weird question, but I'm like, yeah. And then, which was really a lie because I prefer to do nothing if I could possibly do nothing. So that was a little bit of a lie. So when asked, do I still like to do things? And I said, yeah, I fibbed about that. And then he said, do you fall down a lot? And then I went fucking nuts. These are fucking old person questions. These are fucking geezer questions. I fall down a fucking exact amount somebody my age fucking falls down. I've been falling down my whole fucking life. I fell when I was fucking 30. I skidded on the ice and almost fucking broke my hip. You don't give a flying fuck if I fell down there, a motherfucker. And this got me on a rant to write comedy about that. And it seems like we are hell bent on making sure our senior citizens are doing things. Like somehow that's a fucking indication whether you're fucking nuts or old or not. Oh, you have to get out and you have to do things. Why? We're tired. We did things our whole fucking life. What's wrong with staying home and fucking relaxing and doing absolutely fucking nothing? Because some people should not do shit when they get older. Mrs. Comic's mother that I love and miss with all my heart, but we got to be such good friends. And she's been gone, I don't know how many years now. She fucking did stuff all the time and loved doing it and was good at it. And she ran church dinners for fucking 300 ministers. And she'd ask me, how much ice cream do you think 200 ministers could eat? And I'd say, well, I don't know, Joyce. How much ice cream could 200 ministers eat? And she'd get mad. No, how much ice cream do you think 200 ministers could eat? Because I'm doing a dinner and I have to get ice cream for 200 ministers. So she loved doing shit and she was fucking great at it. But when she did stuff, then she liked to bring some of her senior citizen friends along, and they didn't like to do stuff as much as her. And one was a fucking relative, and so the point is, if you're a geezer and you like to do stuff, fucking knock yourself out. Go do it. But if you know geezers and they really don't want to do stuff, don't fucking push them into doing shit. Because Mrs. Comic's mother had one such geezer friend and she made him do shit and he probably shouldn't have even been driving. And she he dropped her off at her house and he actually fucking ran over her twice. He fucking ran over her twice because he was that fucking old and nuts. Sorry, but it's tribute to you, Joyce, and not the guy who dropped you off. So the door was open and she got out and he didn't realize he had the fucking car in reverse. And so when he drove, the door was open and it knocked her down. And then he figured it out and then he fucking drove over her again. So she, Mrs. Comic's mother, Joyce Wild, got run over twice by a geezer who was probably forced into doing shit and he shouldn't have been doing shit. He should have been one of those people who, you don't have to do shit, it's fine, just stay home. Then she went to the hospital and got bandaged up all fucking day and she got home and she's sitting there all bandaged up like the fucking mummy and she started to plot dinner. Holy fuck. That's somebody who likes to do stuff. That's the kind of geezer I want to be. I don't need a fucking doctor to ask me if I want to do stuff or if I want to do not do stuff or whatever. So I'm going to leave you with that this week. What?
come out to your shows.
Yes, come out to my shows. That's right. Mrs. Comic said come out to my shows. I forgot to do the thumbnail. I do a lot of fire hall fundraising shows, but I realize a lot of organizations need money. Since I have an obsession with saving cats, I'm going to be targeting animal rescue groups to have comedy nights for cats. And I think that's just a wonderful idea. Come out to my shows. I will be at Arts Quest over at Steel Stacks in Bethlehem Friday in February. I don't know exactly when that is. I'm gonna burp again. Excuse me. Uh, the Evergreen German Club in Fleetwood. That's Dutchy, right? I'm gonna be doing that first Friday in March. I'll be back at the Emmaus Theater towards the end of July, probably last Friday in July. Um, but I do post my shows on social media. I'm not on Facebook too much these days, but I post my shows on Instagram and I push them over to Facebook. So come out to my shows. I'm gonna try to get this live stream shit going back again. We were trying to make Tuesday suck less, but now I think I could pick any day of the week and try to make that suck less. So rare Saturday night for us here. Do happy, fun stuff. Oh, I will say I forgot one good geezer story. And this goes back to uh, this could have been a scene from a David Lynch film because uh, my friend Frank, our friend Frank, back in our wild running around with Clee days, he used to make us do some silly shit that we wouldn't normally do. And so we were in our 20s and we were wild pot smoking hippies. And he decided we should go roller skating because there was a roller skating rink a couple miles away from our house. And they had never gone roller skating, and we didn't really want to fucking go, but we didn't want to be party poopers. So we went roller skating. None of us really. I can ice skate. Mrs. Comic could ice skate. We could all ice skate. And Frank could ice skate, but we never really roller skated. And we figured how hard. People say ice skating is harder than roller skating, so they're fucking stupid because with ice skates you can just kind of fucking stop and stand there. Roller skates you seem to tend to just keep fucking rolling and there's no real way to stop. So we went on roller skating fucking geezer night, fucking senior citizen night. And we walked in there and we had our skates on and we were so pathetic that these geezers were flying around like fucking 80 fucking miles an hour backwards. They had groups together. They had their hands up. They were doing this ballet moves and shit. They were on fucking one skate. They were doing fucking high stepping it, flicking off. We were the fucking problem, and we were escorted by the safety committee into the center where we wouldn't fuck up the geezers who were good at doing shit. So at that moment in time, we were the fucking geezers who couldn't do shit, and we shouldn't have gone roller skating that night. On that note, I will say, have a great week. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. Don't be a dick to each other.
Cheers.
If things piss you off,
Cheers to David Lynch.
cheers to David Lynch. Check out some David Lynch stuff and focus on shit that makes you happy because that's the name of the ball game. We love you and we'll leave you with this. Here is all my. Let's see. There is. That's a hobby. That's a hobby. Crawling food in for that bear cat. Be safe. Love you. And see you hopefully next week.